It is a warm welcome to you viewers. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Crime Watch, a program brought to you by the Zimbabwe Republic Police to inform you of our roles and operations and also engage with you members of the public. I am your host, Onesisa Sivanda. The murder of a 15-year-old boy in South Park, Harare, a story which flooded social media platforms, left many speechless. Crime Watch visited South Park Police to follow up on this case. This is what we gathered.
It was a horrific act. A 15-year-old boy murdered in cold blood. We visited Mageti in South Park, where the body was found, and it was found in the house that you see behind me. When we got to Zetrapi South Park, we made a lot of discoveries.
On the 29th of May 2022, we received a murder report at Zetrapi South Park involving a boy named Emmanuel Nunth, who was said to have been murdered. Initial investigations pointed to Leroy Urayai, aged 20, as the suspect to this murder case. Apparently, Leroy Urayai happened to live in the same neighborhood as the deceased. We carried out thorough investigations, manhunting the suspect until the 6th of June, when we got a lead to this case.
We also interviewed members of the family of the deceased.
Ndakaenda ku Mount Pleasant musi wesatatu pano ndakamsiya nemabrothers ake vatatu ndokudzoka Sunday manheru. Pandakasvika pamukova ndikabvunza takudzwa ngakamira ake panzana ndikati taku mana aripi, zvanzi mano ari kwamai Kimbali. Ndokuenda kwamai Kimbali ndokuwana pana Shiona kamwana kamsikana ka grade 5. Ndikati shosho komana aripi, zvanzi mana anga ari panze mai manje. Takamboti garei chinguvana ndikuona time dzakufamba ndokumbonotenderera nevamwe amai anzi migration tichimutsvaka. Ndokumukira mangwana takaita rara ndokuzomukira mangwana papolisi yedu paSouth Park. Ndopandakasvika ndikataura kuti ndikushaya mwana. Takazoti manheru pakauya baba pa next to apa vanonzi baba Tanaka. Ndokunoka maiguru mukai. Ndofandamuka vaive namai nemudzimai wavo namigration. Zvanzi maiguru, ndanzwa kuti kune munhu akapondwa asi munhu akaiswa musaka. Saka handei kunzi kune munhu akapondwa. Takakwidza zveshuwa tichienda ikoko ndokusvika pane vanhu vemutemo nemota yange iripo. Takanzwa vamwe vakadzi vachingotaura kuti hanzi tsoka inenge yemwana mudiki. Takaenda ndega kumapurisa ndikati ndakashaya mwana nesuro, asi makuseni ndamukira kunozivisa vemutemo. Zvanzi aiwa pakanaka. Ndokunovhurirwa mwana ndakamuziva musoro wake wanga usiri kunyatsooneka nameno tongo wakapfekerwa sei. Chandakamuziva nacho hembe dzake. Takabatikana zvakanyanyisa. Ndandangobepa. Vanhu vangondiunganira ndandakunzwa kutsva kuita sei ndikabviswa juzi nevanhu ndikadii.
On visiting Zetrapi South Park, we found them having visited this quarry dam behind me, a quarry dam located in South Park in Harare. They had come here together with CID Homicide as well as Zetrapi Support Unit Sub-Aqua Unit to retrieve a body which had been reported to have drowned some days ago. On retrieving the body, it later emerged that it belonged to the suspect in this horrific murder act.
Said the suspect, Leroy Urayai's body, seems to be the one which we retrieved in one of the quarry dams in South Park. Ratings positively identified the body as his. However, investigations are still in progress.
Zvinhu zvakatiremera. Zvinganzi hazvo munhu ndiye awanika ari kufungidzwa kuti ndiye awanika akazviwisira mutemo akafa, but isusu semhuri yekwanhunzvi taida kuti awanike ari mupenyu agozvidairira tinzwisise kuti akazviita ari ega here uye chinangwa chake changa chiri chei. Saka tine chishuwo chokuti iye akatodza kana aine vamwe vake vese vakwanisa kubatwa kutaura zvinangwa zvavo zvavaiva nazvo pakore yako vakaita mwana. Ine handingakwanisa kuti ndinoda kuti atonge zvakadii. Tongo tinongosiyira kune vemutemo.
It is a mysterious story indeed. one person found dead in unclear circumstances, and the suspect to this murder act also found dead a few days later in a quarry dam in South Park. Was it for ritual purposes, or it was just a moment of madness where one temporarily runs amok and involuntarily commits such a callous act? Police investigations will unearth these mysteries, and you will certainly be kept abreast on developments regards this case.
Moving on. Chivu community was left in shock following two murder cases which occurred in the small town. In the first case, the suspect murdered an 82-year-old man and dumped his body in a well.
On the 18th of May 2022, CID Chivu received a case of suspected murder which had occurred in Masasa area at Chaire village, Chifumsarurwa, Chivu, whereby an 82-year-old man was found dead in a well which is located at his homestead. On the same day, CID Chivu started carrying out investigations which led to the arrest of the suspect, Tyson Chaire, in Harare where he had escaped to. Circumstances are that the accused person proceeded to the deceased's house during the night and unscrewed the deceased's dining room door hinges using a screwdriver to gain entry. While he's inside the house, the suspect stole more than $800, and as he was coming out of the house, he met the now deceased at the main entrance and he attacked him, tying his hands and mouth with a cloth before throwing him alive into a well. Suspect and the now deceased are related, as the now deceased was uncle to the suspect.
In the other case, two teenagers attacked a man who later died due to injuries sustained.
39-year-old man, Tajringa Ngundu, was assaulted by three suspects, namely Takawira Jova, Ashton Mandaza, and a 17-year-old juvenile on his way home. Investigations were thoroughly carried out, leading to the arrest of the three accused suspects, who are all residents of Chivu location. We would like to thank Chivu community for the cordial relationship shown during the course of investigations.
Tanga kutya kana kufamba kana mashandiro kana maclients edu anobva kure, asi at least takazwanawo relief nekubatwa kwakaita masuspects ano vanhu vakaponda munhu. Tinoda kunyanya kutenda polisi zvakanyanya because yadzosera confidence muvanhu.
Those were indeed disturbing stories. Perpetrators of violent crimes such as murder, rape and robbery will be dealt with by the police without fear or favor. We take a short break. Join us in the second segment. We are in the second segment of Crime Watch. The fight against drug and substance abuse is a collective responsibility. We visited Zetarapi Marimba, where a gang of youths were arrested due to drug and substance abuse.
On his recent tour of Glenview in Harare, the president, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, bemoaned abuse of drugs and substances among some sections of the youth around the country. The Zimbabwe Republic Police will not turn a deaf ear on this and will do everything within its power to apprehend drug peddlers and drug abusers. Just recently we visited Zetarapi Marimba, where they apprehended 35 youths for abuse of drugs and substances.
As the Zimbabwe Republic Police, we are not folding hands on drug peddlers and drug abusers. We are quite aware that there are some criminal elements in our society who are involved in some dealings and selling of substances and drugs. Therefore, we are taking this opportunity to give a stern warning to those peddlers that your days are numbered. Just recently, we made some raids in our policing area, that is Mfakose, where we managed to apprehend 35 youths who were abusing drugs. These youths comprise of 4 females and 31 males. Through investigations, we find out that the youths were abusing banje and crystal meth, commonly known as mtoriro. So we'll continue with these raids and arrests so that we account for such culprits. It is disturbing that most of the people who are abusing these drugs are actually young and very youthful. And it is now an issue of concern to us as the police, and it should also be of concern to you as parents.
Just to find out more about what really happens when they abuse these drugs and substances, we visited Mufakose in Harare to find out more from the youth themselves on what really happens and how best we can end this scourge.
Zvinhu zviri kundirwadza sevechidiki, future yedu kurasika in such a way kuti madrugs akuita kuti munhu asadye, especially vanhu vari kurova guka. Saka isu chikumbiro chatinacho dai panga paine magroups or community groups anokwanisa kuita kuti tifambe vanhu vachipiwa information yekushata kwakaita madrugs akaita sana guka iwawawa. Hazvisi kungoda mapurisa chete, but zviri kuda Zimbabwe as a whole tigone kubatana, tigone kurwisana nechini nekuti chatova chirwere chapinda pakati pedu.
Tine shamwari dzedu dzatinadzo dzakupenga kufurikidza nemutoriro, tine shamwari dzedu, tine hama dzedu, even nehanzvadzi dzedu dzakuita zvinhu zviri very well zvisati zvamboonekwa pasi rese, zvokuti mwana wechisikana chaiye unotomona mazuva ano akutoba. Tanzwa nekubatwa ngunzu izvezvi haufambe kana kuma6 angava masikati, hanzi unoclaim wobva watorwa sezvaunazvo ipapo nevanhu vekutoziya futi.
Idambudziko zvechiwana tinaro kumufakose kuno kokuba kwavari kuita. Vane chivindi vanogona kutokubira vari padhuze chaipo. Madrugs achari kuvapa chivindi. Ingori takaenda takabodoka, takaita sei hakuna zvimwe zvinotaurwa. And ndozviri kutaurwa vachiba vachirwa kurovana, havasina kana respect kana kuti uyu mupurisa kana kuti ndibaba vangu kana ndamai vangu. Saka tiri kuti veduwe ngatibatsirane panyaya iyi.
It requires you and I. It's not only for the police, but also for you, members of the public, to work together with the police service to end this issue of drug peddling and, of course, illicit drug dealings. As the Zimbabwe Republic Police, we're issuing a stern warning to you all who are involved in drug peddling and, of course, abuse of drugs and substances, that we are coming after you. From that story, it's back to the studio.
Moving on to Matebelele North Province, police in Chocholo arrested 2 men for smuggling pharmaceuticals and illegal drugs into the country.
Setarapi Chocholo is situated about 30 kilometers away from Lupane town, or rather 201 kilometers along Bulawayo to Victoria Falls Road. So in our area of policing, the most prevalent crimes are assault, isolated cases of rape, and unlawful entry and theft. At times we have got crimes that become noticed when detected. For example, the issue of smuggling, passage of drugs from the neighboring country Zambia into Zimbabwe via Victoria Falls Bulawayo Road, and as such we manned a roadblock at 201 kilometer peg, and during that time we stopped a Toyota Wish that had quite a number of drugs. Upon search, we discovered quite a number of drugs. As you can see, there are quite a number, different types, pharmaceutical materials also there. These are not registered drugs, so we apprehended the accused persons, took them to station. Investigations were completed, the matter was taken to court, and the accused persons were convicted. We shall continue enforcing the law. We are determined to make sure we fight the issue of illicit drug trafficking and other crimes.
The police will continue to fight the use and the smuggling of illegal drugs and substances into the country. Moving on to this week's traffic safety segment, the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe talks about the defensive driving course, what it entails, and why it is important to undergo the course.
Defensive driving course is a course that is done in Traffic Safety Council and all our regions across Zimbabwe. It is a course that teaches drivers to prevent accidents in spite of incorrect actions and the presence of adverse driving conditions. It is a 2-day course, and after the completion of the course, you write an exam and then you get certified. It has 8 sessions, and in each session you are being taught how to avoid collisions, either with a car behind, ahead, besides you, or at an intersection. Without preempting everything, today we will speak on the elements of defensive driving. A defensive driver is someone who is knowledgeable, who has the knowledge of the rules and regulations of the road. A defensive driver is also a person who is alert on the road. So alertness is also something that is taught when you take the defensive driving course. An alert driver is a driver who pays attention to the car that is following him as well as the car that is in front of him. When you take the defensive driving course, you will be a driver who drives with foresight. Foresight entails that you predict when there is a possible road crash. So a defensive driving course enables you to have foresight so that in the event of a possible road crash, you'll be able to avoid such a collision. A defensive driver is a driver with good judgment. Good judgment entails that you are a driver who makes good decisions that allows you to avoid road crashes. And lastly, defensive driving course improves your skill as a driver so that when you are faced with challenges on the road, you'll be able to avoid challenges. Defensive driving course is an improvement program that aims at developing the already existing driving skill that the driver has. According to SI 168 of 2002, all public service vehicle operators are forbidden from driving without a valid certificate of the defensive driving. It is mandatory for all public service vehicle operators to have a valid defensive driving certificate. However, we encourage all motorists to train in defensive driving to reduce road crashes.
Welcome to the third and final segment. The Zimbabwe Republic Police will do everything in its power to curb smuggling activities at all entry and exit points along the country's borderline. A number of smuggling syndicates have been accounted for by the Therapy Support Unit that is deployed along the country's borderlines on surveillance and reconnaissance duties. One that comes to mind is the apprehension of 3 truck drivers where a total of 58,000 liters of fuel smuggled from Mozambique was seized. 3 trucks used to smuggle the fuel were also impounded. Not so long ago, Support Unit's Foxtrot troop deployed along the Zimbabwe-Mozambique border also intercepted 2 trucks and seized several bales of second-hand clothes. The smugglers were also arrested. Police will leave no stone unturned to end smuggling activities by unscrupulous syndicates. In other news, CID Wange arrested 6 men for poaching and recovered ivory.
As CID in Matabeleland North, together with our stakeholders, the Parks and Wildlife Management Authority, we deployed a proactive intelligence system aimed at fishing out poachers and bringing them to book, with the intention of protecting flora and fauna in our policing area. Pursuing this tactical operation, on the 27th of April 2022, we arrested accused persons who were in possession of 10 pairs of elephant tusks at a mountain in Kamative area. The ivory weighs about 260 kilograms. 2 of the accused persons are Zambian nationals and the rest are Zimbabwean, and they are all from Binga area. The Zambian accused persons entered Zimbabwe through undesignated points. 1 fresh elephant tail, 1 AK-47 rifle and 29 rounds, 1 375 rifle and 5 rounds, 1 stripped 375 rifle, 4 axes and 5 Django knives were recovered from the accused persons. The weapons were smuggled into the country through undesignated points by the Zambian accused persons. The accused persons used a hideout in a forest in Siachilaba area in Binga. The indication is that a total of 6 elephants were hunted and killed by the accused persons, who have since appeared in court and are on remand awaiting their trial at Wange Magistrate Court. Let me take this opportunity to appeal to the members of the public to give information of similar cases.
Let us preserve our wildlife and say no to poaching. Meanwhile, in Bulawayo province, the Business Against Crime Forum of Zimbabwe repaired vehicles that are used by CID Homicide Bulawayo and officially handed them over to the ZRP.
Our partners have proven to us that they can assist us. Please let us not let them down. Let's ensure that others will see the good work that has been done by the lady in this team, so that we try and encourage by our deeds. It is the only thing I believe that if we do well, people will have confidence in us, and if they do have confidence in us, they would want to be closer to us and assist us.
Before we come to the end of this week's episode, here are some people on the police wanted list. ZRP Battlefields is looking for Blessed Piri, age 25, of Victory Mine, Battlefields, Kadoma, for a case of robbery. Blessing Munemo of Chinyemba Village, Chief Chirau, Zimba, is wanted by Zimba Police for a case of rape. Lastly, ZRP Chipinge Urban is looking for Temba Hanyai, aged 31, of Ndorikana Village, Chief Mutasa, Nyanga. Anyone with information that may help in the location of any of those people should contact any nearest police station or contact us on the following details. Our National Complaints Desk number is 0242 703 631. Visit our website www.zrp.gov.zw or email us on feedback@zrp.gov.zw. You can also link with us on our Twitter handle @PoliceZimbabwe or our Facebook page Zimbabwe Republic Police. If you miss any of our Crime Watch episodes, you can watch them on our YouTube channel Zimbabwe Republic Police. It has been a pleasure having you along. From me, Onisisa Sibanda, and the crew behind the scenes, pleasant viewing.